Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Hardev Singh Khalsa. 2 years ago, I made a video with Sikh.net to share how I became a Gursikh. Today, I've experienced profound blessings and incredible experiences through maintaining a commitment with this lifestyle, this path, as a Gursikh. And I'd like to share with you those tools today. The one thing, the main thing that has kept me connected and has given me roots and commitment to living the path of a Gursikh has been the shabad that I discovered when I first started coming around the Sangat. And it's quite common shabad, but I still have this shabad deep within my own heart. And this was written by Guru Ramdas. Guru Satguru Ka, Jo Sikh Akahe, So Balake Ut Har Nam Diyave. That means he who calls himself a Sikh of the Guru wakes up early in the morning and meditates on the name. So I started. I'd come through some experiences that were very troubling and had made me more open and more vulnerable to learning new things. And this was the shabad. This was the message that I got. To rise up early in the morning through a tired body, a tired mind, from work, stressful relationships. I remembered this shabad, and I still remember it. I surround myself around people who also practice this so that I can stay in that space of commitment. I've heard before where if you take just one step to the Guru will take 10 steps to you. It sounds really funny, and how can that happen? But it is very true, and it has happened in my life. It has blessed me with a beautiful, rich family of Sangat, friends, and an amazing woman now that we just walked 4 rounds of the Guru this weekend. If there's one thing that has really helped me the most, it is by getting up in the morning and falling in love in meditation and connecting with God through the Guru. And that's why I'm here, and my blessing for you. Why I like making these videos and working with Sikh.net is because of a tool that they have that I use quite often when I'm home alone or don't have Sangat to meditate with in the morning, and that's the Gurbani Media Center. It's been an absolute tool that I've used to stay elevated and lifted. Help us make it better, make a donation, and help people like me that sometimes don't have Sangat or someone to meditate with. Thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hi everyone. So as we mark Mental Health Day, it's particularly important to talk about all the many difficulties we've all been through over the last 18 months. For so many people, the lockdowns were incredibly isolating and really took their toll on people's mental health and well-being. So I'm supporting the Sikh Helpline. It's a fantastic West Bromwich-based charity that provides support not just to the Sikh community, but beyond that. I've seen firsthand the fantastic work Chadee Kalaa and his team do in supporting the community across the country. Recently, they held a gruelling Edinburgh to Birmingham bike ride to help raise funds for their helpline, and it was a pleasure to raise this in the House of Commons chamber and for them to receive support from the Prime Minister too. So, for Mental Health Awareness Day, never forget that if you need to talk, there is always someone on the other end of the phone.
Mental health, like physical health, needs care. You and your community are your best doctor. Community could be close family, work colleagues. They spend several hours a day with you. There is no written solution. Rather a change to the way you live, think, feel, mostly small changes, some big but very necessary. You're not alone.
Mental illness is when it could affect your mood or your emotions or how you behave, or you might get in fights with your family or feel really depressed. And if I met someone that was having this problem, I would go and help them.
Many of us have struggled to maintain our mental health during the pandemic. Luckily, Samwell is absolutely full of positive community groups and projects that are there to support people and support their well-being. And the Sikh helpline is one of those. They help people at their lowest point. They improve lives and sometimes even save lives. So thank you to everyone involved in the Sikh helpline for everything you do.
Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh. Sunday 10th of October is World Mental Health Day. I think mental health means something different to all of us, and it all depends on our own take. But for me, my mental health is just as important as my physical health, and I try to look after my mental health just as I would my physical health. Here at the Sikh Helpline, we are here to support anybody who is struggling with their mental health. We are a counselling and advisory service by email and telephone. You can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and speak to somebody about how you're feeling. We support in lots of ways to help people with their mental health who might be struggling. So we are here if you want to reach out and talk about your mental health and what it means to you. Waheguru Khalsa, Waheguru Fateh.
I think from when I first made contact, my condition was quite severe in my immune system and my mental health. Over a number of weeks, maybe 5 or 6 weeks, I think my condition has improved a lot. My confidence has improved a lot. And some of the techniques that they suggested in being positive, confident, and be able to sort of go out and talk to people outside as well as the Sikh helpline has helped me build my confidence tremendously.
Oh, that's
Hello, my name's Amajit and we're here to talk about mental health. Mental health, there are 7 billion people on this planet today that will go through mental health, whether it's illness, corona, anything. But I've realised more and more with my mental health, bipolar, that the last few years, thankfully, people are now coming out, they're talking, they're not afraid of saying, look, you know, I've got panic, depression, anxiety, whatever, domestic violence, or I'm suffering and I need to talk to somebody or be with somebody, or I want to be referred. And, you know, there are so many organisations and helplines. If you need anything in that area, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Ring Sukha Singh on Sikh Helpline. But remember that only you can help yourself. Nobody can come knocking on your door until you tell them to. Tell them what you are going through and tell them, and be honest with it. Don't lie and think, oh, I feel embarrassed about this. Yeah, a lot of things are embarrassing. I talked to my psychiatrist and she's given me crutches to lean on. And mechanism, you know, self-help mechanisms that when you're in this environment, deal with it this way. For instance, I lose my temper very quickly. She says, just leave it, walk away, and then go back to it in your mind. And when you meet that person or that environment, say, look, I need to talk to you about this. I'm not happy the way you treated me.
Mental health is when people get emotions and scared, and those never get away easily. My mind. I will try to understand and I will try to help them.
Guru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Mental health is something that impacts all of us, but it's important to understand what mental health is. According to Gurmat, mental health is santok. When we feel content, that is mental health. Depression, anxiety, stress, irritation, and everything else that gives us a level of distress is simply a feedback mechanism. It's not necessarily that there's something wrong with you, it's just that feedback mechanism that's telling us that we need to take some actions in order to ensure that we can restore our mental health. So what is the one thing that will work with mental health? Meditation. Meditation taught by the right individual in the right way. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
We've all been through so much during this pandemic. The world has shrunk, pressures have increased, and unsurprisingly more and more of us are suffering from issues such as anxiety and depression. The UK Centre for Mental Health estimates that 10 million people are going to be in need of support over the next 3 to 5 years. This could be the opportunity for the Asian community, who has traditionally avoided such services, to finally engage with them. It's time we changed that. It's time we broke the cultural stigmas and reached out. Reach out to organisations like the Sikh Helpline, who are there not only to listen, but understand the cultural context of the challenges that we face. Let's stop suffering in silence. Let's reach out for that help. And together, let's break the stigma around mental health.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name's Harpal Singh, and I'm a Counselling Services Manager for the NHS. I'm author of the book called The First Slap, which looks at mental health for the Asian community who suffer from domestic violence. I'm also a Severdar for Sikh Helpline. Over the years, I've helped a number of people through their emotions, their thoughts and feelings, anxiety, depression, amongst others. And a lot of people have changed and worked on. But then you get some people who are scared, frightened of seeking mental health support, or the word mental health scares people. The stigma attached to it, what people are going to say, what my friends are going to say, what family are going to say. But working on your mental health is as important as your physical health. If you're physically struggling, you will see a professional. So when you're struggling mentally, why don't you seek a professional? Hiding away from the issue is not going to resolve it. It's about talking it through. Counselling can't change your past. They can help solve the issues and make sure that you can work with them in the future. My urge to everyone is to seek the support. Don't suffer in silence. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hello everybody. This is just a small message from myself, Sangat Singh, about mental health. It's a massive, massive topic that not many people are talking about, especially men. They're taking steps where some people are even going to the lengths of taking their own life. Some people are sitting there and in depression, worried about how they will look, what people will say to them if they ever opened up or spoke about something that they're going through. It's a very delicate topic, and it's also a very delicate matter that people really need to start waking up and understanding that it's not just, oh, it's okay, it's, they're just going through a small phase. They're not. People are going through mental illness and are afraid to speak, but they shouldn't be. They should be able to speak to a friend, a loved one, somebody who they can trust. And again, if there's not somebody you can reach out to, there's organisations like the Sikh Helpline, who they'll have trained professionals, mental health experts to sit there and listen to what you have to say and give you the right support and point you in the right direction. We need to wake up and understand as a society as a whole, not just as Sikhs, but just as a society as a whole, not to ridicule somebody for the way they feel. Sometimes, especially in men, you're ridiculed, oh, you're not manly enough, you're not this, you're not that, oh, look at him, he's weak. I think you're probably more weak if you don't talk about it. I think you're more weak if you are the person ridiculing somebody who's suffering, especially when people have gone to steps and lengths of self-harming and even taking their life. That's not something that needs to be ridiculed. That's not something that should be taken lightly. Remember, support some people, support somebody, let them know you're there to care, And if you are somebody who's going through depression or mental illness, remember, there is somebody out there you can speak to, and Sikh Helpline's one of them. I hope this resonates. I hope this helps. And just remember, we are here to help.
Mental health include our emotional, psychological and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, how we act. It also helps to determine how we handle stress, relate to others, or make choices. Now, mental health is something that we all need to talk about, and we need to take the stigma away from it. So let's raise the awareness of mental health. Let's let everybody know it's okay to have mental illness or addiction problems. From the Sikh Helpline 2021 and 2022, we are going to run a campaign. It's on mental health and suicide prevention project to bring the awareness in the community. I feel personally community plays a very important role in helping those people who are going through mental health. And I hope we all can work together and raise the awareness of mental health. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
I think I would urge anybody who's having any sort of difficulty in their life, and we all go through difficult times, and sometimes we just do not know where to turn to. I urge anybody who needs any help in any sector, whether it's to do with mental health, abuse, finance, or any other crisis that might happen domestically, I urge them strongly and not to be afraid to pick up that phone and seek support. I believe that you will benefit tremendously from the Sikh Helpline. Please don't hesitate, don't worry, don't fear, don't think you're being judged. Don't be self-conscious that you can't make this call. Just pick up the phone and somebody's there ready to hold your hand and guide you and help you through your difficult times.
Thank you very much, really appreciate it.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Marking World Mental Health Day, we ask ourselves, what is good mental health? Are you looking after your mind, body and soul by practicing physical movement, inspiration, meditation, gratitude and good sleep? It's important to look after your mental health. You're not alone. Reach out to us, the Sikh Helpline. We're here to help with mental, emotional and wellbeing support. Please contact us on 07-999-004363. We're also available across social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Please get in touch if you need help. You're not alone. Look after yourself.
Did you know that how you speak actually changes your brain? It's true. Dr. Andrew Newberg has done groundbreaking research on this very subject and determined that a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that regulate physical and emotional stress in the body. Now, when you speak positive words, it actually strengthens the frontal lobe, which is the seat of judgment, planning, our personality, and executive function. But when you speak negative words, it activates the fear response, which stimulates the amygdala of the brain, and that actually increases the stress hormones released in the body. When stress hormones get released, it changes what we call the gray and white matter of the brain. Now, what does that mean? The gray matter of the brain are the neurons responsible for processing information. They are delicate and interconnected, and the strength of the gray matter actually can determine how quickly you perceive and process information. The white matter of the brain, on the other hand, it's more like cables. They're covered with a white fatty tissue, and like a network cable, they deliver information from one place to another. So when you speak negatively, what happens is that the gray matter of the brain actually becomes diminished, while the white matter increases, and it begins to hardwire the brain to stay in the fight, flight, or freeze stress response. There is another very significant way that how you speak impacts your brain. The occipital lobe is located in the back of the head, and it governs how you see, not just the world, but how you see yourself and how you see other people. So when you speak positive words, it improves your self-image and the way that you view others. But when you speak negatively, believe it or not, the reverse happens, and negative words actually create a more negative picture of yourself in your own mind, and it causes you to be more paranoid and doubtful and distrustful when you look at other people. All of this is possible because the brain has something called neuroplasticity. And this means that it changes and can actually be re-sculpted and rewired. The ratio of gray and white matter, the way the various lobes of the brain interconnect and intercommunicate, all of this can change. And believe it or not, words themselves sculpt your brain through this science of neuroplasticity, determining how effective and efficient or sluggish and dull your brain is. This begs the question, what did the gurus know hundreds of years ago that we are only beginning to discover today? How we speak rewrites our brain. The Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib is filled with beautiful poetry composed by masters from different spiritual traditions, abiding in a state of peace, equanimity, and love. What we call enlightened. When these masters were in this enlightened state of consciousness, they sang songs and wrote poetry. But the secret is their brains were in a very specific kind of state, and the poetry actually encodes that state through what we call nod, or the science of sound. These masters would spontaneously write these songs when the neurological connections of their brains had reached a certain configuration. And when we meditate lovingly on these words with a good posture and good breath, reciting these words can begin to rewire our neurological connections so that in time we can begin to see and experience what the masters themselves saw and experienced. These shabads, these sacred songs, are like photographic negatives that when we recite them, develop the same image in our mind that the gurus had in theirs. And this, of course, is not the only way, the only path to awaken your consciousness. It is, however, a very powerful one. So the question is, how does this work? Your tongue and the empty space of your mouth are the most creative parts of you. You speak. And as you speak, you massage or hammer the glands inside of your brain. And there's something called meridian points in your mouth. So if you run your tongue along the top teeth in your mouth, right where the teeth and the gums meet, you can feel some of those meridian points. And if you run your tongue in the horseshoe-shaped curve on the roof of the mouth, called the upper palate, you can feel more of those meridian points. There's like a tickling or a tingling sensation in your body when your tongue touches those points. Now, every time you speak a word, your tongue acts like a piano keyboard, striking those meridian points. And when we do japa, when we recite Gurbani with good posture and good breath, the act of striking the meridian points in the mouth sets up a biochemical reaction in the brain. As your mouth chants the songs, the hypothalamus of the brain begins to vibrate to the tune. And then the hypothalamus activates the pineal gland, which we call the seat of the soul or the 10th gate. The pineal gland then stimulates the pituitary gland, which is the master gland of the entire body. And the pituitary will then send signals to all the glands in the body for them to vibrate to the tune as well. And so by chanting, you raise the frequency of the entire glandular system. One way to explain this is that the gurus channeled the music of the heavens. And when we attempt to change our brain pattern to meet that frequency, it has the effect of creating deep healing and rejuvenation within ourselves. As the glands secrete based on the pattern of sound within the shabad, it alters the chemistry of the entire body. And as the chemistry of the body changes, it brings new hormones and nutrients to the spinal fluid. And when that enriched spinal fluid washes over the brain, it strengthens the gray matter, repairs the effects of stress on the brain, and activates new layers of communication between the various lobes of the brain. We call this the Had Ras, the juice of the divine essence. This entire biochemical reaction repeats itself as we recite a bani or shabad over and over again, until slowly, over time, we begin to see what the Guru saw for ourselves. This play between the Guru's consciousness, their words, our recitation of those words, and our consciousness is multifaceted. The meaning of the shabads contribute one part to the transformational process, but the very sound of the songs themselves can re-sculpt the brain to be clearer, more intuitive, and more conscious.
ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਨੇ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਲਈ ਮਦਦ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਹੈ ਕੀ
ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਘਟਨਾ ਜਾਂ ਘਟਨਾਵਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੜੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਉੱਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੰਭੀਰ ਬੰਦਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਲਾਗੂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨਾ ਜੀ ਸਕੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਅਧੀਨ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਨਿਰਵਾਹ ਕਰੇ।
ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਰ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ 16 ਸਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੋ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਸੰਬੰਧਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ।
ਇਹ ਕਈ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੁੱਟਣਾ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਮਾਨਸਿਕ ਧਮਕੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਸਰੀਰਕ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਬਣਾਏ
ਆਰਥਿਕ ਪੈਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਖਰਚਣ ਦੀ ਮਨਾਹੀ ਭਾਵੁਕਤਾ ਹਰ ਪਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨੀਚਾ ਦਿਖਾਣਾ।
COVID-19 ਦੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਰ ਪੀੜਤਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਸਹਾਇਤਾ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਕਰਵਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ।
ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਸਰਵਵਿਆਪੀ ਮਹਾਮਾਰੀ ਦੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਉਠਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ
ਅਤੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਲੋਕ ਭਲਾਈ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਮਹਾਰਤ ਭਰੀ ਸਲਾਹ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ।
ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਰੀਕਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੀੜਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਰਿਹਾਇਸ਼ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਕਰਵਾ ਕੇ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਕੇਸ ਅਰਜ਼ੀ ਦਾਖਲ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹਾਂ।
ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ 24 ਘੰਟੇ ਅਤੇ 7 ਦਿਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਾਂ।
ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜਾਣ ਪਛਾਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਰ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਚੁੱਪਚਾਪ ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਸਹਿਣ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਪੀੜਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਛੁਟਕਾਰਾ ਮਿਲ ਸਕੇ। ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਮਦਦ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੈ।